If you want to hit a really big goal, it is oftentimes better to break that down into bite-sized pieces. And I mean embarrassingly easy bite-sized pieces. So here I was, a guy who's raced in a dozen half marathons, some of them hungover, frankly. And I've raced in to go triathlons, and I'm downloading an app that is actually designed to train people who can't run around the block. I'm going to share why doing something like embarrassingly easy was exactly what I needed to do, and how the same principle can help you unlock those huge, hairy, audacious goals that you have in your business. I recently ran into this blocker with running, just in general. I would start running and I would get, 2 minutes in, 3 minutes in, and all of a sudden I'd start like, oh, you know what? I forgot to do whatever the hell it was, right? And hold on, let me stop for just a second. I'd grab my phone and okay, let me just hammer this out real quick. And I'd never really get back to running. I started to realize this, and I said, you know what? I've got to change this. I don't like where this is going. And it had nothing to do with physical conditioning, right? It wasn't like I would start running and be like, my God, I can't breathe. It was like I'd just get going and I was either bored, I didn't want to do it. It wasn't even incredibly hard. It was, I wanted to have achieved the goal, but there was some mental blocker that I was plateauing at, right? And I kept butting up against. I go out and I download this app, Couch to 5K. It's a program where they help you condition and train from not being able to run at all to being able to run a 5K, right? And they do that by interval training. So they'll have you run, for 1 minute, and then they'll have you walk for 5 minutes. And then the next time you do that, they'll have you run for, 90 seconds. And then it'll just kind of inch up and inch up and inch up. So I go out and I start running, right? And I would get out there and I would run for a minute and it would say, ding, and it would tell me, all right, it's time to walk for 4 minutes. No bullshit. I feel like I'm cheating right now. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, this is too easy. I'm supposed to be pushing myself. I'm supposed to be pushing the limits. I'm supposed to be finding what my limitations are and then inching those. And I'm not supposed to be going backwards. You know what? I'm going to trust the system. I'm going to test this theory. I'm going to start with something easy and I'm going to inch up and I'm going to work my way through this app and I'm going to work my way through the next version of the app and the next version of the app back to where I know I am physically, and mentally I just need to kind of catch up and blast through these walls, right? So occasionally I would skip one, right? I'd get to a point of okay, I did 1 and 2 and I'm like, all right, I know I can do the 4th one. I don't need to do the 3rd. And so I kind of went through the 5K version pretty quickly. As I was doing that, I was compounding wins, right? So instead of every time going out to run and hitting that 3-minute wall, that 5-minute wall, as dumb as it sounds, it wasn't physical, but I kept hitting this thing. Instead of hitting that and quitting and then leaving with that being the record, what I did was I went easy and decided to build up. And what I was doing was building the wins. I was building the habit of winning. I was building the habit of succeeding, right? Because it was easy. So instead of going out and saying, I'm going to run for 2 hours today and not being able to do that, right? And getting a few minutes in and going, shit, there's an hour and 57 minutes ahead of me. I just don't want to do it. What I would do is go out and say, I'm going to go out for a minute. How do you not do that? This is how winning works. Winning is a habit. Winning is something that compounds on each other. Your wins, your small wins compound and they start to become exponential. And when you start to train yourself to, when I do X, I'm going to achieve the thing, right? I'm going to win, versus, hey, I'm going to keep trying new ideas and they're not going to work. I'm going to keep trying this and it's not going to work. And I'm going to keep trying this and it's not going to work. You actually subconsciously, you start to doubt yourself because you're well, you know what? The last 4 times that you said that you're going to try that new idea, you're going to try that new initiative, you're going to hire that new role, you're going to implement that new system, you're going to adopt that new platform. You're going to, whatever it is, you start to doubt yourself. And when you start to doubt yourself, it creates this vicious cycle. Self-doubt and self-confidence are things that are constantly moving, right? Like there's always like an ebb and flow. You're either constantly increasing it or constantly decreasing it. And it's not a perfect line, but generally speaking, you're moving one direction or you're moving another direction. And if you consistently set goals that you don't achieve and you accept the fact that you don't achieve them, it makes the next time that you set a goal less likely to achieve it. And then if you do that 3 times in a row, 4 times in a row, 5 times in a row, this is how people end up, personal or business, where they end up in spaces where they're like, I'm just going to like blank promises. I'm going to lose 50 pounds. Like we're going to hit 1 million this year. This is our sales goal. We're going to hire a rock star. We're going to have, we're going to run our ops like, a Swiss watch. Like we're going to like, and you say these things and they're empty promises. And deep down, you know it because the track record that you have with yourself or with your business has been one where you accept those losses. There's a really cool video that I love with Jesse Itzler and Chad Wright. And they talk about, I will not quit. I will not quit. I will. And so maybe there's a way that I could have just forced it, right? If I just like push through that barrier. And that's definitely one way to do this. But in my case, I didn't have Chad Wright. I didn't have a Navy SEAL by my side, like cheering me on. And I said, you know what I need to do? I need to redevelop the habit of winning. I need to redevelop the compounding wins and retrain my brain that when I go out to run today, I'm going to hit the fucking goal. Why? Because it's so easy that there's no reason that I wouldn't. Now, here's how this relates to business. I've already hit on the fact that when you consistently set goals and you don't achieve them, you as a culture, as a team, as a leader, you start to accept the fact that you may not hit those goals, which I think is just like really toxic as a culture within a business. Like when you set goals, you and everyone else has to sit around and believe that you are going to hit them. And this principle of small wins compounding is something that you can implement in your business to start achieving massive goals. And here's what I mean. If you have the goal of standing up an outbound operation, right? Just for example, say, you know what, I want an outbound sales team and we want to be generating, 100K MRR in 18 months. If you set out to do that, and you start executing and you are going into that with a track record of not achieving those goals, you are going out with subconsciously willing to accept the fact that you may not hit them, that goal, that MRR goal, feels like the half marathon. It feels like the 2-hour run that you have ahead of you. And so you get going really on, you hit those initial obstacles, you hit that initial friction, and a couple of things happen. One is you're like, all right, maybe this isn't actually going to happen. Maybe this isn't realistic. Or you do kind of the same thing that my brain does. It starts drawing on these other distractions. It starts drawing on this to-do list that's sitting back there. That's like, hey, this is conveniently sitting here to allow you to avoid achieving the thing that's in front of you. Because the goal is so fucking big. It feels not quite impossible, but it's like, oh man, I don't know how I'm going to get from here to here. Instead of taking it from here to here, we take it from here to here. I want to stand up an outbound operation. Okay. What are some baby steps that we can put in place? What are some small, embarrassingly easy, achievable goals that we can put in place that we can hit in the next 30 days, in the next 90 days? Can we say we're going to get out X number of emails and make X number of phone calls, not even worried about results? Right? Like we're just going to get the flywheel in motion. We're going to get the script written. We're going to get the copy written. We're going to get the systems in place and we're just going to start executing. Like we're going to get some activity going. We're not even going to worry about the leads just yet or the appointments or the sales. And you say, well, I mean, come on, Ray. Like clearly we can get some scripts written and some emails written and make some calls in the next 90 days. Okay, well then do it. Right? That's your equivalent of the 1-minute run. Now that we did that, what's the next easily achievable goal? And you inch up and you would be surprised at how quickly that curve bends because there's something called Gates' law. And Gates' law basically says we overestimate what we can do in 1 year. And then we dramatically underestimate what we can do in 10 years. Okay. And it's because most things in life are exponential. And we overestimate what we can do in this very short period of time. We underestimate what we can do in this extended period of time. And because we overestimate what we can do in the short period of time, we end up giving up. So we never actually experience the big results that happen on the other side of the curve. If you recognize with Gates' law, you say, hey, it's actually over the long haul. Let's underestimate what we can do in the short run and overestimate what we can do in the long run. Let's reverse that. And let's say, let's run for 1 minute. Let's run for 90 seconds. Let's run for 180 seconds. Let's run for 10 minutes. And that is where you see the curve. Like that is where you see the real results, the exponential results that happen over time. And my lesson with the Couch to 5K app, I think validates that. It's the exact same psychology. You go back and you say, let me underestimate what I can do in the short run. Instead of overestimate, let me underestimate that. And let me overestimate what I can do in the long run. Because it's over the long run, after things have really compounded, that give you the results that you're actually looking for. So I tell you all this to say, like, you don't have to go run. You don't have to go get the Couch to 5K app. You don't like that's not the point. The point is, if you want to hit a really big goal, it is oftentimes better to break that down into bite-sized pieces. And I mean embarrassingly easy bite-sized pieces so that you create the habit of winning. You create the habit of achieving. And that every time that you set the new mark, you now believe in your brain and your team believes in their brains, we're going to hit it. Why? Because we hit the last one. As that happens, the team has momentum, the team has traction, and something kicks in and it becomes just a hell of a lot easier to hit those elusive goals. But it may mean an embarrassingly small bite-sized portion of it to get going. So if you are a smaller MSP and you're gunning for 10 million, or you're a 10 million MSP and you're gunning for 100 million, don't go into that marathon. Don't go into that half marathon and think, holy shit, like I've got to get all of this done in this short period of time. The road from 1 to 10 and the road from 10 to 100 is a curve that looks like that, right? It is an exponential curve that requires smaller wins on the front end, compounding, gaining traction, and giving you the results that you want over time. You'll be glad to know I've knocked out the 5K app. I've knocked out the 10K app. I'm now at a point where mentally and physically, I'm reaching the limitations, but I'm now going into that with more confidence because I just have a long track record of the wins up to that point. So I hope this has been helpful, if not from a business standpoint, at least from a personal standpoint. And I just personally find this principle has worked for me many times. And I'm taking one step backwards and doing something embarrassingly easy just accelerates the curve to actually get where I want to go. And if it has been helpful for you, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Or if you are an MSP and looking to grow, feel free to check out MSP Sales Toolbox. That link is below as well. In that toolbox, we've got, sales templates and forecasting models and playbooks and things that we put in there basically every month. And you have access to that for life for free. Or my email newsletter link is below too, where we drop, sales tips and business tips every single week. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Adios.